watching the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. From Orlando, Florida, the jewel of Central Florida, part of the Capital One Bowl Mania on ABC. It's the first meeting all time between the SEC South Carolina Gamecocks and the Big Ten's Illinois Fighting Illini. Both these teams coming in at 9-3 under a lustrous, irradiant sky. Can they send it down on the field? Chetsey had this crowd worked up into a frenzy a moment ago. Pockets full of cheese right now, looking fresher than Febreze. Like Roddy Jones, Mark Jones, Rick Dresnick down in the field joining us. There's a lot of cheese out here, folks. Hey, from all of us here at ESPN to all of you at home, Happy New Year. Roddy, let's start talking about the Fighting Illini. As we take a little bit of inventory, they started off the season on a nice run. They won their first 4 games. But let's talk about your first impressions of bowl season so far.
Well, there's been a lot of talk about opt-outs and who's not playing in these games. But by and large, bowl season's been awesome. The games have been great. The teams have cared. We get the second round of the 12-team college football playoff starting tonight. I've had a great time this bowl season. We should have a great one here today.
Anytime you have the Big Ten against the SEC, it's always a very intriguing matchup. Let's start with Illinois. I mentioned the fact that they got off to a great start to the season. Hit a little bit of a bumpy ride in the middle part of the regular season, but then there was that win against a then-ranked Nebraska squad that really flipped things in the other direction, and then a win against Michigan as well.
Yeah, it was a team that was picked 13th in the preseason media poll for the Big Ten, ended up finishing 4th. They've done it by winning close games late. This has been a fantastic fourth-quarter team, and finishing off the season with a great win against Northwestern, where they really got the run game going was big.
Meanwhile, when you talk about the South Carolina Gamecocks, for them it might be a season of what could have been. They were on the fringes of the conversation of the 12-team college football playoff, and boy, they started off 3-3 to the season, and after back-to-back losses in conference play against the University of Mississippi and then to Alabama, the leadership of this team at South Carolina really took stock and things took off.
They won 6 straight after that Alabama loss, including the season-ending win over Clemson. That A&M win really propelled them in the back half of that season. This was a team that had an argument to be one of the best 12 teams at the end of the regular season. Those losses to Alabama and Ole Miss ultimately were too much to vault them high enough. But one of the reasons that they were so much better the second half of the year was because of the improvement of Lenora Sellers, particularly throwing the football, was so much better those last 6 games throwing the ball. What makes him incredibly special, number one, he's a great person, and he's been a great leader for this team. Again, improvement throwing the football, but his creativity in the pocket and his ability when he tucks the ball down and runs it is absolutely special. You can't teach it, and he is absolute highlight-worthy material when he tucks the ball. It's one of the reasons he's going to be an early favorite for the Heisman in 2025.
Hey, Q, it wasn't that long ago he was backing up Spencer Rattler.
That's true. You know, it ain't easy being cheesy. It also ain't easy winning 10 games, and 10 is the magic number in this game. That's one number you as a fan need to know when you're watching this game. For Brett Bielema, 10 wins for Illinois would be the first time they've done that since 2001. For Nicky Imanori, the safety for South Carolina, 10 wins is the reason he comes back for this game and doesn't declare for the NFL draft, to play with his teammates, to get closure on that career with 10 wins. For the fan base, South Carolina, an electric young quarterback, hope of the future with 10 wins. For Illinois, one of the youngest teams in the Power 4. This win, 10, would be a sign of sustainable success, Mark.
And look at the improvement, Q, of the Gamecocks' performance this year, almost doubling their performance in terms of wins with a potential win today. Illinois, with a 9-3 season this season, looking for their first 10-win season in 23 years. South Carolina won the toss, deferring. Illinois will receive. It's bowl weeks, folks. Let's feel the vibe here. A drop kick to start the proceedings by the Gamecocks. You always have to remember Beamer ball. That's Shane Beamer on the sidelines. On the return, Wiltshire takes it out near the 30-yard line. We have a flag down already on the first play of the football game. Let's sort things out as Luke Altmaier takes the field for the Fighting Illini. Roddy, that's the first drop kick we've seen all year.
During the return, holding, receiving team number 32, 10-yard penalty, first down. Maybe first drop kick you've seen. There were some WWE participants staying in our hotel. Drop kicks there.
Okay. Luke Altmaier, the starting quarterback for Illinois, completing about 59% of his passes in his last game. Win against Northwestern, 61% on the season. Aiden Lawfer is the starting tailback. And he's going to get the call on the first carry of the football game. Lawfer stopped by Debo Williams and Dylan Stewart. A gain of 2 on the play. Brett Bielema, the former Iowa linebacker and former coach at the University of Wisconsin, in his 4th season on the sidelines at Illinois. Looking at 2nd down and 8 for his offense. That pass is going to be ruled incomplete. Going to call it a catch.
Dylan Stewart was in the face of Luke Altmaier, and Aiden Lawfer did his best to bring it in. So far, it's called a catch on the field. Looks like it's going to stand as a catch, and stopped it yet.
3rd down and 8. Fighting Illini without their top receiver coming into the ball game, and might have used him on that play as Altmaier is sacked on the play. Ryan Thomas Jr. with a sack, and it's a quick 3 and out for the Fighting Illini. Thomas, which is 4.5 sack of the season. And there's a look at Shane Beamer. 4th season on the sidelines. 29 wins is the most by a head coach in his first 4 years.
And Mark, the big question for South Carolina, how would they replace Kyle Kennard, the Ben Merrick winner who opted out? His replacement, Brian Thomas Jr., gets a sack on the first chance.
They got good pressure on him. Boy, there was contact and a flag subsequent to that as Juju McDowell tried to get the punt. He wasn't able to get close to it. He got rocked. As McDowell with his hat off already, we also have an official down on the play. So a lot of moving parts on that punt as we sort this out. The official lost his hat. You saw the athletic training staff taking a closer look. Here's one more look as McDowell called for the fair catch, and he might have been, well, he was hit by an opponent, but number 34 right there was seemingly pushed into him. Blocked right into McDowell.
It does look like he was blocked in.
So we have to sort this out. Let's bring in our rules analyst, Bill Lamagnier. Bill, what do you make of that entire scenario?
Due to that contact that occurred there should be no foul for hitting the receiver. He was blocked into him. So hopefully another person on the crew saw that, step up, and they picked that flag up.
They're having a long discussion about it. Also checking on the back judge. You can see clearly.
Yeah, Ryan Mead made contact, sorry, Roddy, with Juju McDowell.
No, but he's hitting the back by, it looked like it was Monkel Goodwine that hits Ryan Mead in the back.
Bill, this is reviewable, right?
The contact, no, that has to be done by the officials on the field, not by the replay.
Well, we'll see what the call is going to be first.
There is no for catching interference. That'll be first down.
So no foul on the play. No penalty. But in the aftermath of all that, McDowell seems to be okay. Lenore Sellers will take the field for South Carolina. Completed 65% of his passes on the season so far. 17 touchdown tosses against just 7 interceptions. And played a huge part in that win in their last regular season game, that victory against their rivals Clemson, as he had a touchdown game-winning drive in the last sequence of the game.
That 3rd and 16 run that he had to score the game-winning touchdown is going to go down in South Carolina history as one of the greatest individual plays that you will ever see. So he's already a legend, but he is a guy that with improvement in the offseason and improvement here today could have a monster 2025.
On 1st and 10, Sellers delivers a dart complete to his tight end Joshua Simon, who's the leading receiver on the South Carolina squad. He picks up 8.
And the timing and accuracy is something that new offensive coordinator Mike Shula talked to us about. With Dowell Loggins going on to App State, Mike Shula, who's been on the sideline in Lenore Sellers here, takes over as offensive coordinator. And he talked about Lenore Sellers' improvement with his eyes and decision-making in the pocket.
They're going to keep it on the ground on 2nd down. That's Oscar Attaway. As the Gamecocks are going to be without Rocket Sanders, their top running back in this game, who opted out. 3rd down and 1 coming up for South Carolina. Coming into this contest on a 6-game winning streak. Sellers ran for 166 yards in that Clemson game, so a viable rush option for South Carolina. Going to hand it off, and they'll get the 1st down. Oscar Attaway straight ahead between the tackles, picks up 3, close to 4. So they move the chains.
We were talking to the coaches about who would replace Rocket Sanders at the running back position. They were really excited about the way Oscar Attaway ran the ball in that Clemson game. A downhill, physical runner, and you saw it on that 3rd down.
Completes another pass to his same tight end. Ball comes out, but it goes right to Attaway, who caught it on the fly out of the arms of Simon. Somebody must have went to church today. They picked up 14.
Well, if you want to do it unconventionally, add a way to do it. Ball goes up in the air, and Oscar's Johnny on the spot.
They move the chains again.
Not exactly how you draw it up, but my goodness.
1st down and 10 from the 30. Sellers with nowhere to go, eludes the rush. And he gets just inside the 30-yard line. Matthew Bailey pushing him out of bounds. There's only one bowl game Thursday night, folks. It's the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl between Duke and Lane Kiffin's number 14 Rebels. Coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN and ESPN Deportes. Quickly up at the line of scrimmage. Attaway again pounding away. Alex Spray making the tackle for the Fighting Illini. Picks up 6 on the play. How should they miss Rocket Sanders?
Boy, they miss me. Todd Sean Clark, one of the coaches on South Carolina's team. See how sweaty he is already. Former head coach at Georgia State. They're gonna miss Rocket Sanders at some point, but right now, the way Oscar Attaway's running the ball, they haven't missed him at all.
Sure is. On the quarterback counter, Sellers inside the 14. Boots making the stop on the play. He picked up 7.
Lenore Sellers, second time seeing him run the football. First time on a design read. Once he gets in the open field, it's hard to find one comp for him because he runs like so many different people. But he is more elusive than you would imagine for a big guy.
Okay.
He is so smooth that you don't think he's as powerful as he is. But I think the thing that stands out is his creativity. And that's what's going to be really fun to watch in the pocket today.
Jawarn Howell in the backfield, giving Attaway a breather. And he gets the call off tackle over the right side of that offensive line. Ryan making the tackle on the play. There have been some notable names that have opted out of this bowl game. Rocket Sanders, talked about him a moment ago. Kyle Bernard, maybe the best rush end in the country, if not in the conversation, with 11.5 sacks this season.
Well, he won the Nagurski Award for the best defender in the country, but Brian Thomas Jr. already got a sack in his place.
On 2nd and 6. Sellers dancing around the pocket. And you saw him break a couple of tackles on his way to the 11-yard line. That lower body strength is so prominent. No gain on the play. And it's going to be 3rd down and 6. He goes 242 pounds. Let's see what they do here on this 3rd down. Nick Harper is another one of those tall, rangy, lanky receivers. Number 8. This is the 10th play of the drive. Harper in motion. Sellers out of the backfield and met immediately at the 11-yard line by Meade. The catch was made by Attaway. He had nowhere to go. And it brings up a 4th down, and in comes the field goal unit, led by Alex Herrera.
This Illinois defense plays the 2nd most man coverage of any defense in the entire country. But when you have Lenora Sellers at quarterback, they told us they would likely have a lot more eyes on him playing zone coverage. Saw a lot of zone coverage on that drive. And all South Carolina could do is dink and dunk. Great reaction by that Illinois defense.
And that sets up this 29-yard field goal attempt by Herrera. And he gets it inside that right upright as the Gamecocks cash out on that drive with 7:24 to go in the opening quarter. Welcome back, everyone, to the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl in Orlando. That's Big Spur nibbling on his favorite snack, some Cheez-Its. You can fly a lot further that way, man.
Yeah.
I know about it.
Cheese powered.
Better ask somebody.
Also, it's Sir Big Spur. Apparently, he was knighted.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see it, but
you got all the info, man. 7:24 to go after that field goal from 29 yards out a moment ago, capping an 11-play, 46-yard drive, using about 6 minutes on the clock. Both these teams looking for their 10th win of the season. And South Carolina, its 7th win in a row. Fighting Illini will have it 1st down and 10 from their own 25-yard line. Luke Altmaier, the transfer from Mississippi, taking the reins of this offense. They're coming off the pretty impressive win against Northwestern a little over a month ago, 38-28. But Altmaier has shown wonderful progress over the last year. His leadership, his passing game. Native of Starkville, Mississippi. Altmaier almost intercepted, incomplete. There's a flag down on the play. Franklin, the intended receiver, working against Judge Collier. Franklin, one of the guys that you would expect to pick up some of the slack in Bryant's absence, obviously, today.
Pass interference, defense number 15. Correction, number 20. 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
you see Judge Collier kind of has that hand before he turns back to look at the ball. Has that hand wrapped around the shoulder of Zachary Franklin. There's not a ton there other than that I would have called, but for Collier, I think that initial hand up the field got him in trouble. But you're right, Zachary Franklin sliding into Pat Bryant's spot. Bryant has been a massive playmaker for Illinois' offense all year long.
Almost 1,000 yards on the season. Over the middle, quick slide complete with room to go. Katie got the pylon, just short of it. Half a yard out. First and goal. A 59-yard bullet. Hank Beatty. First and goal. They're up at the line of scrimmage quickly. No signal. He didn't get in. That was McCray. And the ball seemingly came loose or not. We got chaos down on the field. There was no touchdown signal. And then South Carolina players came running out of the pack with the football.
I don't know, I saw a signal of any kind.
Fumble recovered in the end zone by South Carolina. That's a touchback. First down.
Wow. South Carolina football. Altmaier handed the ball off to McCray. And here's what happened. The ball came out. And it's coming back the other way when we come back. Let's take a look at that last play a moment ago. Ruled a fumble and recovery by South Carolina in the end zone. Where is the ball? When did it come loose? Was the runner down?
So you're going to see Josh McCray kind of go down. Watch towards the left side of the screen. It doesn't look like it. It looks like the ball does not come out of his hands until after his wrist hits the ground. And at that point, the ball looked like it had broken the plane. Let's bring in our rules expert, Bill Lamagna. Bill, what do you see on these replays?
I tell you what, every view I look at is more confusing than the last. But I see your point on that. You know, is he possibly even down before the ball comes out? I definitely don't believe it's a fumble, but I don't think we have indisputable video evidence.
Yeah, that I certainly agree with. It's unfortunate for Illinois because I think it was either down short or a touchdown. It ends up being a South Carolina takeaway, and this defense is going to have to get a stop.
Yeah, great opportunity. Falls by the wayside for the Fighting Illini. First and 10. Attaway trying to get to the corner. Goes north-south up to the 25. Brought down by Torrey Cox Jr. Gain of 4 on the play for South Carolina. Attaway ran for 41 yards in their last game against Clemson a little over a month ago. 6 foot, 223-pound senior out of North Little Rock, Arkansas. With Brown in motion, they keep it on the ground again. Roots stopped up. Attaway again, a gain of 1 on the play. So third down coming up for South Carolina.
It's going to be interesting. South Carolina's passing game has really consisted of little short passes, 5 yards and less. For Lenore Sellers, as Illinois has dropped a lot of people into coverage. It's interesting talking to defensive coordinator Aaron Henry. He went back to the way his NC State staff defended Lamar Jackson to try and figure out how they're going to defend Lenore Sellers.
That's a heck of a comp. Nick Harbor split wide to the top of your screen. The fastest player on the field today. Sellers looking his way, but comes underneath and incomplete behind Jared Brown. It'll be fourth down coming up. In comes the punt unit. So the Fighting Illini get their 3 and out. And after the turnover, with just under 5.5 minutes to go.
Really big stop by that Illinois defense after the change of momentum, the change in possession. We're back to their roots on that third down. Played man-to-man coverage, forced Lenore Sellers throw the ball a little bit off the mark, get off the field.
Ty Kroger into punt from his own 11-yard line. And Beatty, who made that long catch and run down to the 1-yard line a moment ago. A low line drive. He'll have an opportunity on this. Beatty makes one guy miss and a couple more, but corralled the 24-yard line on that 54-yard punt. It'll be 1st and 10. Illinois football when we come back to Orlando. Got down to business, and our cheesecaster in a bowl of Cheez-Its. Life doesn't get any better than that. 1st down and 10 for Illinois, and another flag. Is it just me? Does it feel like we've had a lot of these stoppages?
Oh, we have.
Delay a game. Defense using disconcerting signals. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
So we have a delay of game penalty.
See if we can see what they were called for with the disconcerting signals.
Was it Dylan Stewart there?
It may have been. It's a good question. It seems like it was some sort of sound that was made. Oscar rules expert Bill Lamagna.
Altmaier incomplete. Let's go to Bill Lamagna, our rules analyst. Tell us about the disconcerting signals that you may or may not have seen on that, Bill.
Well, that one was hard to tell if it was verbal or if it was the movement. I didn't really see any abrupt movement that would cause that, but at the same time, verbally, if they started to do any type of a call or a chant that drew the offense, then that could be called.
All right, 2nd and 5. And look at this, another flag.
That time there was an abrupt movement. I would call it a shift by the defense.
False start. Offense number 85. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
How much of what we're seeing right now, Roddy, are two teams that haven't played in a month?
I think that's some of it. Look, watch the shift by the South Carolina defensive front. They're going to shift in unison, but there's nothing that simulates a snap of the football. They're not moving their arms quickly. They're not lunging forward together. It's just a simple shift sideways, and it gets Illinois to jump. I would say some of that stuff you chalk up to being off for a moment.
Looking at 2nd and 10 on the draw play. Laffery in space. Is he collared? No flag on the play. Eman Wari making the tackle in the secondary for South Carolina. This is not a horse collar tackle, or maybe now it is.
There were some South Carolina players that ended up well into the Illinois bench after they came out, is when the flag was thrown. Nicky Manwari, it looked like he had him more around the shoulder. Q, what did you see down there?
Well, after the tackle, there were a bunch of South Carolina players who, as you said, were in and amongst the Illinois sideline. The officials either didn't see or couldn't get there in time, and there was an entanglement and a scrap going on. And this is going to be
That's a 15-yard penalty. Automatic 1st down.
a penalty against South Carolina. So,
yeah, Q, it ended up being unsportsmanlike against Swain, Vicari Swain, number 4.
See him at the bottom of your screen and tangled with Sakari Franklin. Yeah, the shove to the face. The flag wasn't thrown initially, but that likely what drew it.
They fake the jet sweep and then hand it off once again to Aiden Laffery. Swain making the stop on the play. Laffery had that first touchdown of the game against Northwestern in their last regular season game, a 29-yard run. Great speed and burst, whether it's inside or outside, right?
And they expected him to have the type of game that he had against Northwestern at some point this season, but it didn't happen until the last game of the year. Said he was a little banged up at the beginning of the season, really found his legs towards the end of the year, and they were not surprised at all to see him put it all together in that Northwestern game.
A local product that grew up close to Champaign, Illinois, in campus.
Extra lineman on those goals.
On 2nd and short, there he is again, got to the outside and picked up the first down. Swain in on yet another tackle. And boy, that is an incensed head coach, Shane Beamer. He is hotter than July right now.
Got a feel like July. Standing next to Shane Beamer, also in the center of Orlando.
His get-back coach needs to get to work.
He's not earning his Cheez-Its.
1st and 10. Beatty gonna throw it, and a little trickery goes awry. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Talker Hemingway made sure that a trick play had nowhere to go as Shane Beamer still a bit fired up about whatever it was that happened incensed a second ago.
Approaching 3 minutes to go in this first quarter. And this first meeting between these two teams. There's Franklin. He's going to be the go-to guy today. Picks up the first down at the 27-yard line. He was working against Judge Collier. He's going to be short of the first down. And they're going to give it to him, actually. 1st down and 10. 11-yard pickup from the 27 now. Boy, Loffery hit the hydraulics. Man, there's some defenders out there, Roddy, that need new brake pads with how quickly Aiden Loffery slammed on the brakes. He picked up 5.
And he shook one guy out on the perimeter and then gets off of that, spins past another, and gets up the field. No, it's not a big game, but it's exciting.
Yeah.
And this Illinois offense has really found its groove. They had the big play to Hank Beatty that got them down to the 1-yard line. It was a great touchdown-saving tackle on the back end by South Carolina. But they picked up right where they left off, now putting together a long, sustained drive.
2nd and 5. Valentine into the boundary, stopped up about a yard short of the first down. Hey, Q, the player's a little cantankerous down there, huh?
Yeah, you know, not all bowl games are created alike in that manner. You got 2 9-win teams. Dylan Stewart jogging off the field, basically shoves an offensive tackle, runs right through his back. The Illinois bench wanted a flag. Guys have been going at it after the whistle all afternoon long.
Wow. 3rd and 2. Illinois squandered an opportunity last time in the red zone with the fumble. McCray in a tailback. And Illinois is going to use one of its 3 timeouts.
Timeout. Illinois. Their first charge of the half, 30-second.
With 1:20 to go in the opening quarter. An opening quarter that has been arrhythmic so far because of all the penalties and stoppages and reviews. But a pivotal play coming up for Illinois. And I tell you what, there have been so many different portraits painted on the countenance of head coach Shane Beamer, most of them angry ones.
That one, I could lip read that time. He's talking about 12 in the huddle. That's how we saw him today. This is how he's been over the years, though.
Look to the left, folks, the far left. That's Shane Beamer. But Dad Frank, of course, a legendary coach of Virginia Tech for decades, through the years, growing up in and around the sport of college football. And now in his 4th season at South Carolina, has his team on the cusp of winning 10. Had a great visit with him yesterday. McCray, the deep back in the offset eye. They give it to the up back, Anderson. And he gets just enough, it appears, for the first down. That was Jordan Anderson, the bigger of the 2 backs with he and McCray. Anderson goes 240, so a job well done And they move the chains again with a little over a minute to go in the quarter.
Something's got to warm your heart about seeing a fullback dive on a 3rd and short during bowl season. It's a rare sight.
Yeah.
We got to appreciate these things when we see them.
Hey, the 70s called and want their game back. An offset eye. What about that? Next thing you know, they'll run power, right?
Yeah, Barry Sanders' records being threatened, Eric Dickerson's records being threatened at the college and pro levels. We should bring back the fullback dive.
How about that? They're going to bring the chains in to measure here. Jordan Anderson is one that carried that football on the last play. And he got it by about a half the length of the football. So 1st and 10 with a minute to go.
This one's got our line there, and it looks like they got the spot right. I mean, from our vantage point, obviously it's a little off. The camera not being right down the line, but I think he got it comfortably. And honestly, half yard's as good as a mile when it comes to getting a first down.
Amen. Trips right formation here. With 3 to the bottom of your screen. They run the counter with McCray. And he picks up about 4. Eman, pardon me, make it about 2. Making the tackle. Eman, a real leader in that secondary for South Carolina. Makes a lot of the calls back there. Real football savant. His dad is an engineering professor at nearby South Carolina State. A man who was introduced to the sport by his dad. We think Derwin James, right? When you look at him play? A little bit?
Yeah, he's in that mold. The bigger safety, rangy, skilled guy.
Altmaier in distress. Gets rid of it. Caught! No touchdown, short of the end zone. A half a yard out. Franklin with a brilliant spellbinding effort. And Altmaier with his improvisational skills.
That's the end of the first quarter.
What a way to end the first 15 minutes of football. The fans are looking at the replay on the big board, thinking this was a score right.
All right, so Zakhari Franklin catches it. You can see 2 feet in bounds. The thing is, he doesn't touch the pylon, and so he doesn't get goal line extended, which means the ball would have to cross the plane inside the goal line in the field of play. Does it do that? Can't really tell. Can't really tell from that angle.
Wow, a close call either way you look at it. That's the end of the first 15 minutes of play here in Orlando. Folks, we'll be back after this message and a word from our ABC stations. So Zakhari Franklin made it into the end zone after all. They reversed the call on the field, and Illinois awarded the touchdown as Zakhari Franklin reached out, didn't touch the pylon, Roddy, but ended up crossing the plane of the goal line with the football while still in bounds. We're going to talk about it a little bit more here after the extra point. So the Fighting Illini have taken the lead, and we'll switch ends now for the second quarter. Let's take one more look. Let's bring in Bill, too.
This is
Bill,
official.
what's the interpretation here?
This is
All right, he has firm possession of the ball. He's diving for it. He doesn't touch the pylon, so he's got to get the ball over inside, which he did. He's got that ball over the top of the pylon. That's a touchdown.
And that was the big question. Were they going to be able to have a view to see if it crossed over the pylon or across the goal line in the field of play? As we went to break, we got this view, which looks like it did.
Right.
I completely agree with the call. Bill talked to us in the break saying he agrees with the call. Now we get the weird situation where they had to kick the field goal, the extra point, on the same end that they scored the touchdown. Now we get to start the second quarter, so the teams flip sides, and they're going to kick off from the same side that we just kicked the extra point.
2024 has been different.
This is the last time in 2024 we're going to have to figure all this stuff out.
Franklin with his 4th touchdown catch of the season, capping that 11-play, 76-yard drive. Pretty impressive drive by the Fighting Illini. And now the Gamecocks will have a chance here on the ensuing kickoff. Pretty boisterous crowd here on hand at the Citrus Bowl and Camping World Stadium. Let's check in with the studio. Happy New Year, guys.
Jonesy, Happy New Year to you as well. Roddy Jones, good talking to you. Final play of the game, 4th and 10, Michigan, Alabama. Eerily reminiscent of the Rose Bowl a year ago. Michigan again makes the stop, again beats Alabama. What a year for Sharon Moore. 8-5, 19-13 the final.
Great way for Michigan to end the football season, and Alabama highly thought of by a lot of people. Well, end up losing.
You know, I haven't been on Twitter. I'm not going to say anything because I'm sure Twitter is taking care of all of it.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure they're having a field day.
I've been off it for over a month. 1st and 10. Sellers with his escapability, able to buy time and the pass complete out to the 35. So Michael Smith, the backup tight end, backs up Joshua Simon, picked up 10. So they'll move the chains. Lenore Sellers had originally committed to Syracuse University, but his high school football team came to a South Carolina football camp, and they got their eyes on him and were really sold and followed him in the ensuing season. And that one real high, even for a 6'6". Nick Harbour. Q was with Coach Beamer a moment ago.
Coach, we got a couple shots of you looking kind of angry. What had you perturbed?
Well, to my knowledge, when a team breaks the huddle with 12 guys in the huddle, that should be a penalty. They broke the huddle with 12, and and then throughout college football, defenses are allowed to stem and move, and that's what we did. And whatever. I'm not going to get in trouble with the officiating. We just need to do our job right now. We're not doing a good enough job of doing our job.
That was a wonderful example of restraint as the Gamecocks run the ball with Jaworn Howell, brought down by Ryan Mead. A 4-yard gain, Q.
That's always one of the herky-jerky elements to bowl games are the officiating crew. This is a very good crew. It's a Big 12 crew led by Kevin Marr. It's an all-star crew of officials who graded out high during the regular season. But officiating differs in some of the nuances and subtleties from league to league, whether it's the SEC, the Big 10, the ACC, or the Big 12. And I think that's what Coach is struggling with right now. Interesting.
Great point, Q. 3rd down and 7 for South Carolina. Bunch formation at the top of the screen. Sellers looking to pull. Complete at the 47-yard line. That was Maceo Bennett. And he picks up the 1st down. An 11-yard gain.
I've been really impressed with Lenore Sellers' ability to diagnose coverage so far against this Illinois defense. It looked like man-to-man coverage pre-snap. Post-snap, they go to zone, and he finds Maceo Bennett.
He goes over the middle, wide open and incomplete. Intended for his tight end, Simon, who temporarily had his hands on it, but then took a hit, as you can see. And holding his rib area right now.
This is another great job by Lenore Sellers. Seeing the coverage, he's got his tight end up the seam. That's a good enough throw to expect a catch out of it. Joshua Simon, the leading receiver for this team as a tight end, wasn't able to bring it in.
Miles Scott right there with a good hit, setting up 2nd down and 10. They're going to keep it on the ground with Howell. Found a nice crease, staying on his feet. And down to the 37-yard line, another 1st down on that 15-yard gallop.
This was a pressure from the boundary. They were bringing the corner, and the defensive line slanted towards the field where they just collapsed that side of the defensive line. Corners wait to arrive. They get a big gain.
Nice cutback by Howell. And picked up about 5 on the play. Matthew Bailey making the tackle. Bailey, one of the leaders in that secondary. That's Simon on the sidelines for the Gamecocks, still being worked on. Second and 4. Sellers surveys. Completes the pass right near that first down marker. Let's see where they spot it. About a yard short to Gage Lavarding. Lavarding held on to it to make it a 3rd and 1, picking up 4. What do you like here in terms of a call, Ryan?
We've got a 240-pound quarterback. We've got a running back in the backfield that's 223 pounds. I want one of those two guys to carry it. Maybe a play where either of those guys could carry it. Some sort of replay.
Sellers hands it off. Boy, that's going to be close. That was Attaway. And it looks like he may have picked up the first down. They're moving the chains. First down and 10. If you're just joining us, remember Raheem Sanders opting out. Team's leading rusher. In this battle between 9 and 3 teams. Joshua Simon. Is back into the game.
Illinois did a great job of taking its time.
Timeout.
Subbing their defenders.
South Carolina.
When South Carolina had a
timeout.
late sub offensively. Defense is allowed to match the subs. We'll have more on it from the other side.
More driven. And we are driven to more conversation about the officiating as we bring in Bill LeMonnier. Bill, tell us what this last passionate conversation was about with the subs.
Well, when the offense substitutes, the defense gets about a 3-second time to respond and start to do their substitutions. What we're seeing here is they're responding, but they're also taking it almost like doing a double or triple substitution situation, which is burning the offensive play clock. So it puts them in jeopardy.
And thus the look on Shane Beamer's face. First down and 10 nonetheless. Lenore Sellers wide open out of the backfield for Attaway. Couldn't make anyone move in missing space. He's brought down at the 20.
So Bill, I want to go back to that conversation. What should the officials do to try and tell Illinois, show Illinois that they can't take that long?
I'd want to get over to that coach and just say, hey, you got the right to do your substitutions, but if you're not going to respond quicker, I'm going to release the offense to snap the ball. We've got to do something about this. There's too many situations where the defense is doing a slow sub that puts the offense in jeopardy.
There's your explanation on 2nd and 3rd. Attaway again trying the right side of that offensive line behind Henry and Simpkins. Torrey Cox Jr. making the tackle on the play. Maybe that's part of the negotiation. Talking to Coach Bielema, saying, hey, you might want to be a little faster with your substitutions.
And before that second down play, they were. Now, the guys coming off the field weren't super fast, but the guys going on were a lot quicker. There's a big third down here, though.
12th play of the drive. Sellers taking out his do-it-yourself kit and picks up just enough for the first down. Some adroit running to get 3 yards on the play. Lenore Sellers, who, good news for Gamecocks fans, has decided that he's coming back to play quarterback next year in Columbia, South Carolina for the school.
Well, his younger brother.
Can't take those things for granted these days.
Unfortunately, you cannot, no matter what school you're at. But his younger brother's joining the South Carolina team. He's excited about playing with his younger brothers. You see the subs a little bit faster for Illinois.
You think?
Yeah. It was. That is faster.
Sellers into the end zone. Incomplete. In and out of the hands of Michael Smith. That might have been delivered a little bit high. So we're looking at 2nd down and 10.
If Lenore Sellers can start to hit these kinds of throws, then you can really start the Heisman train for next season. Just a little bit off there. It's the right idea, going high to the back of the end zone, just a little too high for the freshman tight end.
In the red zone, you might ask, where is Nick Harbor, the long, lanky receiver? Instead, they keep it on the ground with Howell setting up a third down. Hey, this season, Allstate will celebrate every field goal and extra point made by participating universities by making a donation to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, Allstate. You know what I say, Roddy? The best nation in the world? A donation. 3rd and 7.
I thought you were going to say the Rhythm Nation.
That too.
Oh, now we got some subs by Illinois.
Oh, look how fast they're going. That is really expeditious there. 3rd and 7. Attaway in the backfield. Sellers batted down at the line of scrimmage, setting up 4th down. Alec Bryant got his hand up and batted it down to set up the potential field goal here. Come on, Roddy. You moments ago, you called this fast? That's not slow motion either, bro.
I said it was faster.
It's
okay. Relative. And honestly, Illinois went faster for about one of those.
Yeah.
And then kind of went back to their old ways.
4th down, they've got the offense on the field. They're passing it. Got him in! Incomplete! Illinois takes over on downs. Kai Kroger couldn't complete the pass. You have to love the temerity, the courage to gamble here. Instead of taking the field goal.
Illinois actually does a good job aligning to the formation, and then on the back end, Ryan Mead doesn't freak out, goes right through the hands of the big fella trying to catch a touchdown pass, and they get a stop.
Hey, we saw this lovely couple a little bit earlier. Folks, that's Aaron and Eric. They said they wanted to get married here during the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. Well, they did, and Ched Z, the Cheez-It right there, officiated the marriage. He's official. There's a look at the first kiss. Saw the first dance a moment ago. You have to love
Ched Z tried to steal the bride.
Come on, man, Ched, you can't move like that.
It's not good for business, Ched Z.
He got ordained. But how do you officiate a wedding without being able to talk?
Great question. He had the cue cards.
And love has its own language, Q.
They got, hey, look, they have 2 bands at their wedding and 50,000 guests and an unlimited source of Cheez-Its for their party.
I can't wait to get to the after party. Congratulations to Aaron and Eric, the bride and groom.
Truly, congratulations.
And 34 years of college football, I've seen everything. On 1st and 10, coming back the other way, a punishing, bruising run by Josh McCray. Put his hat down and stood on business that time. Picked up 11 to move the chains.
This is the physical downhill portion of the run game for Illinois. Josh McCray, about 235 pounds. He's the physical bruising presence that they've got in the backfield to counter what Aiden Lawfery does from a speed perspective.
Pressure off the edge. The pass complete out to the perimeter. That's Elsie. And he is close. It looks like he picked up another first down for the Fighting Illini with an 11-yard gain. Approaching 7 minutes to go in the first half. Talked about the hard running of Josh McCray. That pretty much characterizes a Brett Bielema team, right? Going back to Wisconsin, Arkansas, now here.
It absolutely does. And they thought that Caden Fagan was going to be the guy to sort of power that portion of the run game, but he went down with injury, missed the last 7 games. And McCray and Lawfery have been the 2 guys to step up into that void. They've done a really nice job complementing each other and having a great relationship through it.
Toss into the boundary. That's McCray again. Going to be brought down at about the 37, close to the 38-yard line. Tackle made by Demetrius Knight, one of the leaders defensively Guy that made the game-clinching interception right there against Clemson in the last regular season game against their rivals. Young man married with a couple of children. On 2nd down and 8. Nowhere to go this time for Josh McRae. Going to be stopped up right at the line of scrimmage by Goodwine. Sets up a 3rd down for the Fighting Illini.
3rd and long is where this South Carolina defensive line can really start to go to work. One of the best pass rushing units all year long across the country. Obviously, Kyle Kennard was a big part of that, but 46 Brian Thomas already with a sack today on that first possession in replacement of Kennard. And Dylan Stewart, the freshman, has been phenomenal all year long.
Now let's keep an eye on him on this play. Dylan Stewart wearing number 6. They get it out quickly. Beatty never got to the 1st down marker, way short in fact. Ford making the tackle for South Carolina. It's going to be 4th down on the 5-yard gain. Going to spot it right at about the 41. Setting up a 4th down and 3. And they'll punt it away. Fabrizio Pinton comes into punt, perched at his own 25. And Kilgore back to receive this punt at his own 25-yard line for South Carolina. Did you expect a low-scoring game like this?
A little bit. I mean, both these defenses have been very good all year long.
Ball bounces harmlessly. And now it takes a South Carolina bounce out to the 34-yard line on the 25-yard punt. Here at the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl, we've got nuptials and a whole lot.
Games the way he did.
Well, the Progressive Bowl Challenge Cup is here at Cheez-It Citrus Bowl, and we will be awarded to the conference that has the highest winning percentage in the postseason. And there's a look at the scoreboard so far. Roddy, what's your takeaway as you look at the numbers?
The American has been awesome. First and foremost, 1 game remaining at 6-1. The ACC has had a bowl season to forget, and just above them, the Mountain West. And look, the one that the Mountain West cares about is today.
Right.
It says they've got 3 remaining. It could be more than that. Boise wins and goes on. But the ACC, man, that has been a tough go for the ACC.
1-9 with 3 more to go. 1st down and 10 for the Gamecocks. And Sellers completes it. And brought down immediately is Oscar Attaway for a gain of 6 on the play. Attaway, a transfer from North Texas.
This Illinois defense has made Lenore Sellers throw the ball underneath and has not let him get out in the run game. It's been the game plan, and they've executed it to perfection, making him dish the ball, making them drive the ball in a sustained way, giving up nothing deep.
Got a clean pocket, finds his man out of the backfield. Again, up to the 47-yard line. Attaway making the catch and picking up the 1st down.
Watch his eyes. His eyes are going to start this way and then work back from the left to the middle to the right. Does a really nice job of being patient in the pocket.
Attaway brought down for a loss of about 3 on the play by Akis. And looking back at that replay of Sellers, that's what Coach Mike Shula, the new offensive coordinator, meant, right? When he said his improvement has been getting his eyes in the right place?
Yeah, and it's when you're a quarterback, the reads and the progression have a rhythm to them. Your eyes are supposed to be at when you get to the top of your drop, you're supposed to be at your first read, and then you've got to know the timing to come off of that to get to your second read. So if you have to go all the way to the check down like he did there, it's not too late. And the check down isn't 10 yards downfield. He's right at the line of scrimmage where he needs to be.
Sellers, they get it out to Attaway again. Looking for a block, won't get one. Going to be limited to a pickup of about 3 yards. Matthew Bailey making the tackle on the play. They talked about using Bailey a little bit differently going into the game.
They told us he was sort of going to be one of the keys to look at in terms of dictating coverage. Plays so much man coverage typically that Matthew Bailey can be used deep or in that man-to-man coverage, but he's been a guy today that's been a half in cover 2. He's been down at the line of scrimmage. Now he's at linebacker level for this third down.
3rd and long. They've got to get to the 44. Sellers with time. Caught at the 39-yard line and a first down. Nick Harbor, the world-class sprinter with the reception. When I say world-class, folks, I don't say that lightly. He has gone sub 10-2 in the 100.
This is a world-class throw. Lenore Sellers puts it right on the 8 of Nick Harbor and used that big body to shield the defender.
15-yard gain on the play. Sellers getting the requisite protection again. And now showcasing his improvisational skills and his strong arm. Intended for Campbell.
This is a minute timeout.
And we have hit the 2-minute timeout. Hey, we talked about Nick Harbor and his various imperious athletic skills. Here's one of them. Track and field. 6'5", 235. Not a great starter, but that top end speed is going to beat most anybody in college football. Back to the action. On the toss, wide side of the field on 2nd and 10. Going to be a gain of about 3 on the play. Let's call it 4. It was Juju McDowell. Xavier Scott making the tackle on the play, setting up a 3rd down and 6 from the 35.
South Carolina with plenty of time. The 2 timeouts. The clock running, taking their time on this 3rd down, trying to get the right call.
Sellers gonna do it himself. Oh man, he made 2 guys miss and picked up enough for the first down. Malachi Hood is saying to himself, that must be jelly because jam don't shake like this.
It feels like he finally decided, all right, I'm just putting the cape on. We're going to make something happen.
Oh.
I mean, makes one guy miss, makes a second guy miss. And you're right, Malachi Hood. You really, I mean, that's a no-win situation. You just got to try and hope you grab onto something.
Sellers comes underneath, checks it down. McDowell again picks up about 2. Hey, what do you make of Sellers? We saw some of his improvisational skills. He can ad-lib as good as anybody. Throws it well, runs it well. Candidate for next year, Heisman?
Absolutely. I think in the early stages of next year, Lenore Sellers should absolutely be on those Heisman watch lists, especially with some improvement throwing the football.
He's going to throw it here. Completes it at about the 20-yard line. That's Josh Simon, the tight end. Gets 5 on the play. And they're going to say now incomplete.
Rolling on the field is an incomplete pass. 3rd down.
After conferring, they said no catch.
Does he have firm control? Yeah, well, so the question on those 2 feet, which one comes down first? It looks like that right toe comes down just before the left touches out of bounds.
Rolling on the field was an incomplete pass.
Which would make it a catch. Let's bring in our rules expert.
We're going to wait for him and go back to the studio first. Guys?
Gentlemen, good afternoon. Dusty Dvorak, Matt Berry, United States Marine Corps halftime report as Dusty fixes his collar. Quickly, first half impressions.
Look, defense. All about the defense in this one. Lenore Sellers trying to make some plays with his legs, but both these defenses have been outstanding.
Also, I will die on this hill, Dusty Dvorak. White cheddar Cheez-Its are the superior Cheez-Its in the Cheez-It family.
I like white cheddar. What about toasted?
Superior.
Toasted Cheez-It.
That kind of goods coming up at the half. We'll see you guys in a minute. Bring it, Twitter.
Hey, I'm interested in the kind of cheese that folds in my pocket and you can spend, but let's bring in Bill Lamagna. Bill, tell us about what you see on this call, which was ruled incomplete.
We've got this one view from the backside here that I believe clearly shows right foot down, firm control of the football, then the left foot's out of bounds. So you just need one body part. He's got it. It should be a catch.
See the toes on that right foot, touching the turf there.
Yep.
Saw the firm control. Left foot comes down. Not long after, but certainly after. I agree with Bill. And just to settle the dispute, Dusty Dvorak has the correct take.
The white cheddar?
No, the extra toasty Cheez-Its are the premier Cheez-Its. As long as we are talking pure Cheez-It, otherwise your take on the kind of cheese that folds in the pocket is the right way to go.
I'm trying to stack that kind of cheese, but as we wait for this call, here it is now.
After further review, it was a completed catch at the 21-yard line. It'll be third down. Clock operator, please put 28 seconds on the game clock.
So they're going to reset the clock to 28. 7-3, South Carolina without a touchdown. I'm Mark Jones alongside Roddy Jones, Quinn Kesselnick down to the field, and this the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl, the first meeting ever between these two schools as Illinois efforts its first 10-win season in 23 years. South Carolina, meanwhile, maybe the hottest team or one of the hottest teams in the country, looking for its 7th straight win. 3rd and 3.
Illinois has gone man-to-man coverage on third downs. If they do so here, watch the legs of Lenore Sellers if everything's covered.
McDowell motions out of the backfield. Sellers nowhere to go. Going to be stopped up short. The impregnable, impervious Illinois defense makes it 4th down. Gabe Ackus making the stop and a loss of 2.
But T-Raw Edwards really creates this by penetrating up the field and getting in the face of Lenore Sellers, not letting him go straight ahead for that game to get ahead of steam going.
South Carolina, second charge. 30 seconds in
That's
lane.
23 Edwards. He's the one that pushes the pocket, and then the two from the outside are able to collapse it around Lenore Sellers. Really nice job by that defensive line. It was indeed man coverage on the back end. South Carolina was anticipating it, said, all right, let's try and sneak Sellers through, see if we can get a big gain. But that defensive line for Illinois did a great job on that play.
South Carolina looking for inspiration during the course of their preparation. Got some from national championship head coach Dawn Staley. Here's what it looked like as she addressed the team several days ago. She said, hey, you went off to break, you came back. Make sure that you get the job done. Be where your mind is. Be present. Stay in the moment was the message from the national championship coach. Right now they're 12-1 overall, the Lady Gamecocks, and number 2 ranked. Alex Herrera going to kick this field goal.
Illinois. Second charge timeout, 30 seconds.
As they try and put him on ice a little bit. With 3 seconds to go in the opening half, South Carolina has yet to get a touchdown here in the ball game. And Roddy, looking down the road, what kind of significant trend do you see that has developed that maybe nobody expected so far coming into the game?
Lenore Sellers' legs haven't been a huge impact in this game because Illinois has been dropping numbers, making him dink and dunk the ball down the field. And by and large, he's done a nice job, but they tighten up in the red zone and have largely left South Carolina looking for points. Now, South Carolina did have the fake field goal, that the pass that Illinois was able to break up. But that's sort of the biggest takeaway for me, is the fact that Lenore Sellers' legs have not had a massive impact.
Alex Herrera from 41 yards out. You heard it. You heard the sound of disappointment resonating across that pristine field. No good. The good news, though, for the Gamecocks is they'll receive the football to start the 3rd quarter. As we listen into it one more time. If you didn't know, now you know. Hey, folks, the studio coming up after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Orlando, Florida. Part of Capital One Bowl Mania on on ABC with Illinois leading South Carolina. Surprisingly low-scoring first half, folks, at 7-3 as we get ready to start the third quarter of play. And Happy New Year from all of us to all of you. And we have seen a myriad of interesting things, including Aaron and Eric seeing their nuptials. And hey, I can only imagine what the after party is going to be like a little bit later this evening. Happy people down on the field, and a very slow-paced substitution sequence every time for Illinois' defense, much to the disappointment of head coach Shane Beamer of South Carolina. That is what a disappointing field goal attempt sounds like. It resonated all across the Palmetto State. Hello, everybody. I'm Mark Jones, Roddy Jones, Quinn Kesnick down on the field. Roddy, when we see how this team responds, South Carolina, outside kick. They might not even have possession, or do they? Still waiting for a signal. Boy, we've seen a fake punt for a touchdown attempt that went awry, and now a attempted onside kick to start the third quarter. And South Carolina will retain possession on Illinois' side of midfield.
Shane Beamer's got to be breathing a sigh of relief, because Illinois has a great shot to recover this.
Wow.
Goes right through the hands of one of the players on the kickoff team that are trying to recover it. South Carolina is able to dive on it. Shane Beamer prides himself on that Beamer ball aspect. Special teams had not gone his way so far today, but that one certainly did.
Lenore Sellers largely bottled up in the run game in the first half. He's going to hand it off here. Little or no gain for Oscar Attaway. Brought down by Akis. Let's check out our ReliaQuest defensive spotlight, and a whole lot of defense in that first half.
Yeah, Illinois on defense has done a great job of not letting Lenore Sellers' legs hurt them all that much, stringing him to the sideline. And South Carolina's defense, Illinois was down on the one. They forced a fumble, ended up recovering it in the end zone. Both of these defenses have come up big at times.
Here they are trying the jet sweep, and nowhere to go for Jared Brown, who got rocked near the line of scrimmage and at midfield, setting up a third down. Xavier Scott with the stop. Scott, good run support there, and he's good in coverage as well. Witnesses 4 interceptions on the season. 3rd and 9. Sellers looking to pass. Nowhere to go, sacked at the 40. Rasetic in there to make the tackle. Sometimes you have to designate a spy. That might have been it.
So Rasetic starts back here, and then watch what happens over the course of the play. He's spying from all the way back in the secondary. And then pause it, guys. Look at the distance he has to cover.
Wow.
Like a missile from the secondary. Just goes for it with Lenore Sellers. A great pursuit from the inside. He ends up making the sack from distance.
Boy, great defensive game plan there. Beatty on the punt return. Makes a couple of guys miss, and Beatty on a 12-yard punt return. That's going to be marked at about the 20 on the 49-yard punt. Let's go to Q.
Mark, it's been a buyer's market, not a seller's market, and that last play was indicative of the way Illinois' defense is able to hem in Lenore Sellers. I talked to Brett Bielema about that, in fact, and he was just impressed with his defense's ability to execute the game plan. 12 games on tape, and they've done a great job there. Second thing he's looking for on defense, create that turnover. Cheese that ball loose. Offensively, first down's everything for this team. They cannot get in the blocking business on the edge against this South Carolina front. He told me they need 4 or more yards on first down.
Well, they've got first down right now. The first possession of the second half. Loffery in the backfield takes the handoff. Nowhere to go. Hit right away by Dylan Stewart, who we talked about a little bit earlier. A young man who recently had his name, image, and likeness agreement renegotiated for next season. And I hope that he's not vegan because he's going to be seeing a lot of bread.
Yeah. Yes, he will. And yesterday's price is not today's price. But that was what Q was talking about, controlling those edges. They weren't able to do it.
Pressure on Altmaier and incomplete, intended for Franklin. You can't eat bread if you're
Well, that was what I was about to look.
keto.
I'm on a seafood diet.
You see,
I seafood, I eat it. And so I don't know the differences between all of the vegan and keto.
hey, if it ain't moving on my plate, it's fair game.
Right.
3rd and 11 coming up. The South Carolina Gamecocks defense looking to eat. Playing without their top pass rusher, Kyle Kennard. But Dylan Stewart right there, ready to make his mark. Into heavy traffic, incomplete. Intended for Dixon. And it's 4th and long, and we have a flag down, I think, on the field on the far side or not. The officials are conferring at the 15.
Illegal motion. Offense number 85. That penalty's declined. Brings up 4th down.
Yeah, you're going to see Tanner Arkin right here. His motion, it was towards the line of scrimmage. As he starts to shuffle, you can see he goes from kind of behind the offensive line to level with him. That being the illegal motion, but South Carolina got the stop.
So they should get decent field position after this punt by Pinton. It's going to bounce on Illinois' side of midfield. And then take an auspicious roll for the Gamecocks, who will start off 1st and 10 from around the 41-yard line when we come back to Orlando.
Look, this is a team that has prided itself on being a great 4th quarter team. Both of these teams have played really well down the stretch in close games and have played some classics, and it looks like it's shaping up to be one.
Sellers completes it to his tight end Simon, making it another reception, picks up 14 on the play.
Yeah, a corner blitz off the edge. Joshua Simon was lined up wide, despite being the tight end. Comes up, hooks up, and Lenore Sellers has done a good job distributing underneath.
Has a clean pocket to survey. Pulls incomplete down the sidelines. Intended for number 8, Nick Harbor, who couldn't hang on to it. Sets up a 2nd down and 10. Mike Shula, the offensive coordinator, taking over for this game. He talked to us about the importance of continuity. He did say that he added a few new wrinkles offensively. And he's a guy that's been around at collegiate levels of football and the NFL. Blitz coming off the edge. Sellers over the middle. Way high, incomplete for Brown. Sets up a 3rd down and 10.
Those are the consistency throws that Lenore Sellers has to be able to hit to take his game to the next level. We've seen a few of them today where we've had open receivers and the throws have been off. That comes with development. It comes with time. He's still a 1st-year starter at quarterback. Now he's facing a big 3rd down. Illinois has gone man in these situations. Looks like they're going to drop numbers and play zone.
Sellers is 14 of 22. Has all day back there. Pulls complete. And they're going to end up about a yard shy of the 1st down. Attaway making the catch. Interesting scenario here. You think about
I think this is a go. Yeah,
okay.
It's been a low possession game. Your defense has played well. I think you go big and you keep it in the hands of your 240-pound quarterback.
South Carolina, 50%, 11 of 22 on 4th downs this year. Analytics say go for it on 4th and 5 or less.
Illinois taking a long time to sub again.
And we have a timeout.
Timeout, Illinois. Their first choice timeout of the half, media timeout.
Back after this. Here's a look at the substitutions of Illinois' defense. Look at the clock in the upper left corner of your screen.
And as long as this center judge is standing behind the center, South Carolina can't snap the ball. It's been taking a long time for these substitutions. And Bill, I mean, as someone who used to deal with this, what's your take on what Illinois has been doing?
Well, obviously they're doing it to delay, especially when the play clock's running down. The whole bottom line is, you know, you're matching up to get to a receiver, to get to a running back. You're not matching up to go tackle to tackle, you know. So they've got to do something about this rule situation.
They certainly do. And I think we're at the point now where our referees got to start releasing the center judge earlier.
Yeah.
And you got to put it on Illinois. If you get caught with 12 on the field on a crucial 4th down, like, that's on you. But these subs are certainly being used to gain an advantage from a time standpoint. Taking way too long.
The solution for South Carolina is simple. Stop subbing.
Let's see what kind of package they have in here. 4th and 1. They're going to pick up the first down and then some. Attaway taken off. Attaway, there he is. Touchdown.
Attaway sees the cutback, a couple of them. He gets some nice blocks by the offensive line and then uses the speed to race into the end zone ahead of Matthew Bailey getting to him. Crucial 4th down conversion and finally an explosive play for the South Carolina offense.
Yeah, their first touchdown of the football game coming about 4 minutes and 10 seconds into the second half. Great sprint by Attaway, his 3rd touchdown run of the season.
Check it out from the blimp. He's going to cut back and then get up that sideline. But the blocks by the offensive line and a nice job by the tight end, Joshua Simon, cutting off. And then Shane Beamer, who's been emotional all game long, fired up. Sean Elliott almost taking him out. Lost a shoe.
He blew a tire on the sidelines.
Really, man? Who loses a shoe?
That's the longest play that his team has had offensively all day. Capping a 5-play, 59-yard drive, and he's seen a lot in his days in college football. There he is on your left as a young one with his dad, Frank, one of the legends of college football. So it's 10-7 in this battle of 9 and 3 squads. So it'll be 1st and 10 from the Illinois 25. Hey, Cheez-It is making fantasies come true today by giving a lucky fan the opportunity to report on the game. Let's go down to the sideline and check in with today's Cheesecaster.
Cheesecaster, J.R. Jackson is here. I got to tell you, he's bathing in a huge tub of Cheez-Its. Different flavors. It's got an aroma. How do you just describe this aroma?
The aroma, it's very cheesy. It's very delicious. I love it.
What does a Cheesecaster actually do?
So I'm actually the first Cheesecaster. Yes, I'm J.R. Jackson from the J.R. Sport Brief, and I'm just enjoying this entire game. Cheez-It bowl and this bowl of this bowl of crackers. We are making all type of cheesy fantasies come true. We have people get married out here. I'm having fun.
Who are you casting?
Who am I? I'm Cheesecaster. That's what I'm casting.
You're casting for cheese?
I am cheese casting, and we are making cheesy fantasies come through for people all over the stadium.
Thank you, JR.
Hey, Q, is there room for two in there?
Take some more.
Is there room for two, Q?
He's been casting in those Cheez-Its. You can't eat that.
Taking a shot downfield, incomplete at the 28-yard line. Good coverage on Elsie. Setting up a 3rd down and 4. Peyton Williams right there, stride for stride.
Q, man.
Are you eating them things?
No, those Cheez-Its, I mean, they've had feet on them. They've had JR's rear end on them.
I worked this game 2 years ago. They sent me 25 boxes of Cheez-Its 2 weeks later. Flavors, spicy, Tabasco sauce, the white cheddar, flavors you can't get in stores. It was amazing.
I tried the Buffalo Wings Cheez-Its at halftime. They're delicious. 3rd and 4. Illinois trying to eat. It wasn't cheesy, but they got the first down. Beatty with the first down reception for 11 yards.
Maybe not cheesy, but it was breezy.
Yeah.
It was a nice little angle route on a 3rd down. A nice catch by Hank Beatty. I mean, you guys with your exclusive flavors, that coming out of that giant vat of cheese, that's an exclusive flavor. Who knows what concoction is being made over there.
On the out pattern, incomplete again for Hank Beatty. Remember, he had that 59-yard long catch and run all the way down to the 1-yard line. What followed, though, was that fumble from the 1-yard line recovered by South Carolina in the first half. Now 9.5 minutes to go. There's the numbers on Luke Altmaier, a Starkville, Mississippi legend, going back to his high school football days. On the RPO, taking a shot. His receiver fell, and it's picked off by Kilgore. And Kilgore tackled at the 31. Gamecocks with the turnover. I mean, he threw that into rush hour traffic.
He did. It's probably an ambitious throw to start. And then the receiver falls down. Some contact. Zachary Franklin goes down. And Jalen Kilgore ends up making the pick. Even if Zachary Franklin stayed up, you had multiple South Carolina defenders around. Franklin was probably just going to have to do a good job to knock it down. But Jalen Kilgore coming up with the big interception. It's the South Carolina defense. It's now forced 24 turnovers this year. It's one of the best in the country.
Yeah, that's his 5th interception of the season. His brother Gerald, also a member of this South Carolina football team. 1st and 10, coming back the other way. Sellers throws a short dart complete to the 34-yard line to Bennett Jr. Picks up 4 yards on the play. Hey, NFL Countdown has you covered for all the Week 18 games. Saturday, 3 Eastern. SVP and the crew getting you ready for the big AFC North matchup. Browns, Ravens, Bengals, Steelers. Then Sunday NFL Countdown, 10 a.m. Eastern, will be at all the games with playoff stakes, highlighted by the all-important Vikings-Lions matchup. On the cutback by Howell, stopped in the hole by Matt Bailey.
Vikings-Lions. Both come in 14 wins on the year. It's for the division. It's for the 1 seed.
Wow.
Loser goes on the road
Yikes.
in the playoffs, possibly to a Falcons team that's 9-8.
Is it just me, or does nobody talk about a 14-2 Vikings team enough? Darnold's been a great story.
He's been a phenomenal story. Question is, what do they do with him in the offseason? I like the Lions in the game, though. I think there's some grit to that team despite the injuries on defense.
On 3rd and 3, option into the boundary, and they're going to pick up the first down. Larvidan with the nice run to get 5. First down and 10, clock running. Gamecocks, Roddy, seem to be getting a little bit of their offensive rhythm finally. Took them a while.
They have run a ton more plays than Illinois in this game. You saw it just a second ago, 51, only 29 for the Illini. Offense is starting to rack up the plays, and Illinois' defense has rotated a bunch, but starting to see some of that wear.
Sellers What a wonderful touch pass caught by Nick Harbor. That shows you the progression he's made in his passing skills, right?
And this is a throw that has to be layered. It can't be too short because the corner's sinking underneath. They're trying to get up the field to stay underneath that ball to pick it off. If it's underthrown, puts it high and outside where only his receiver can get it. That's exactly what you're talking about. That was a phenomenal throw.
First down and 10 from the 42. On the screen pass. Ball's on the ground. Illinois has it on the recovery. The fumble by Howell. And fighting Illini have the ball. Ezekiel Holmes made a big hit to jar it loose. Ezekiel Holmes was in the neighborhood trying to jar it loose. And there's the rip. Peeled him clean. Illinois football when we come back.
The Cheez-It Citrus Bowl is brought to you by Cheez-It. Want it? Need it? Cheez-It. And Taco Bell.
So Chitsy and I walk into the club and first and 10, Illinois. Little slice of daylight over the left side of the offensive line. Loffery running behind J.C. Davis, who's a big-time talent and leader up front, picks up 11. And look at that number. The 7-1 Illinois is when forcing one or more turnovers. They've done that today.
Look at some of their biggest wins of the year. +3 turnovers in the Michigan game, +2 in that Northwestern game. +3 in the Kansas game. And this is a team that has done a great job creating turnovers.
Altmaier passes it on the out into the boundary, complete. The Kapka Jones. Hey, here's our Week 18 regular season finale. An all AFC North Saturday doubleheader loaded with playoff implications. The Ravens need to win to lock up another division crown. They take on the Browns at 4:30. Then the Bengals and the Steelers to secure their spots in the playoffs. Both games on ESPN, ABC, ESPN Plus, and ESPN Deportes. 2nd and 5. They keep it on the ground. Loffery, a nice gain of maybe 4, makes it 3rd and 1. Demetrius Knight making the tackle for South Carolina.
Haven't given enough credit to this Illinois offensive line. Again, Illinois has only run 32 plays, but they've had some success running the ball, and only 1 sack given up so far by this Illinois unit. They're going to need a big push on this 3rd down. Illinois has gone big.
Josh McCray in the backfield. Takes the handoff. He got the first down. Bludgeoning his way down to the 41-yard line. He picked up 2. Only needed 1, and they moved the chains.
It was right behind the big left guard, Josh Geske, for 73. Did a great job of just creating movement, resetting the line of scrimmage.
And there's sorry, Roddy.
Yeah, I was going to say, giving just enough space for the running back to slip in there.
And there's 74, Davis. Brett Bielema spent Christmas Eve in Oakland visiting with Davis and his family. The former JUCO player now has an extra year of football if he wants to come back. Altmaier, incomplete, near the 40, intended for Goda.
And there's a couple guys on these teams that have that ability now. Mentioned J.C. Davis on the other side, Bam Martin Scott for South Carolina. Because of the court ruling with the Diego Pavia decision, the NCAA issuing a blanket waiver for anyone whose eligibility is expiring, who spent here at junior college, they can come back for another year. So coach is doing some selling.
Love it.
Trying to get them to come back. I'd stay in college next year if you allowed me.
Hey, man, I stayed in college a long time and barely passed. 2nd and 10. pass complete to Franklin. Going to be about a yard shy of the first down. They had to blow up the classroom to get me out of the third grade, right? You know that. 3rd and 2, 8-yard pickup.
With a vocabulary like yours. And I thought they kicked you out of 3rd grade because they thought you should have been in 10th.
Appreciate you, buddy. Happy New Year. 3rd and 2 coming up. Fighting Illini, driving here.
At some point, Luke Altmaier's legs are going to show up in this game in a crucial situation.
McCray is his tailback to his left. It's McCray. He's going to pick it up. Got the first down on the gain of 3. And right now, just on the outside of the 30-yard line. We talked about McCray at 235 pounds. Man, he's the lightning in bad weather, folks. Loffery is the quick and speed component. First down and 10. Loffery back in. Had the first touchdown of the game in that Northwestern victory on a slick 29-yard run.
Prior to the play clock expiring, timeout, Illinois. Their first.
So Illinois uses its second of its allotted 3 timeouts. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Winning's easier when you're road game ready. Are you ready for the road? Goodyear, more driven.
That was an interesting sequence. Brett Bielema felt like they didn't reset the play clock. It was winding down.
Think they got cheated out of a little time?
It's without seeing exactly when they started the play clock.
Right.
It's hard to know. And typically, coaches are fighting for every little advantage to get that timeout back. I mean, you're in a 3-point game. Your team driving. We're still in the 3rd quarter. You've got 1 timeout the rest of the game. And so, it's scenarios like this where if you did indeed not get the play clock reset, those are tough on a coach because you have to take the timeout. You don't want to delay a game, but you're going to need that later on.
South Carolina looking for its first 10-win season since 2013. It's been 23 years since Illinois has done it. Taking a shot deep on the back shoulder. It is complete at the 2 to Dixon. Working against DQ Smith. Altmaier. Did he purposefully underthrow that?
He did. He purposefully underthrew it. I don't know if he purposefully underthrew it by this much. It's a tremendous adjustment by Colin Dixon to slam on the brakes. Let DQ Smith go by, come back and catch the football. And now, here's where Illinois wants to go full Illinois. Brett Bielema, extra lineman in the game, a big running back. See if they run it downhill.
McCray in the backfield on 1st and goal. He cuts it back. Touchdown, Fighting Illini.
Watch the interior and just completely collapsing it down. And look at this lane. That's from inside the 5-yard line. You've got 5 yards of space.
Tell you what, those guys up front, Davis, Geske, Krutz, Henderson, Priestley doing a fantastic job up front for Illinois on that O-line. And they lead now by 4, 14-10. With 2:23 to go in the 3rd. Hey, college football playoff continuing with the quarterfinals on ESPN. Tonight, Penn State squaring off against Boise State. in the Verbo Fiesta Bowl, 7:30 Eastern. And tomorrow, Texas taking on Arizona State in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl at 1. Then it's Ohio State and Oregon in the Rose Bowl, presented by Prudential at 5 Eastern. And we cap the night with Notre Dame and Georgia in the All-State Sugar Bowl. Robbie, we had a chance to call the Penn State game against SMU, and Notre Dame pretty much was, that game was a little bit more competitive against Indiana. Not by much.
Yeah, look, all of these games were pretty one-sided, including the one that we saw where SMU turned the ball over a number of times, 2 pick sixes in the first half. Texas Clemson had a shot down the stretch. Wasn't quite able to get over the hump against a really good Texas team. And then Ohio State flexed its muscles. I mean, that was a dominant performance at home against Tennessee. Question is, will we see closer contests in this round? My answer is a couple of them are likely to be. Tonight's going to be interesting, though. That Penn State-Boise State game. Can Ashton Jeanty have the type of game that puts him in the legend status by willing his team to even a close game against Penn State?
Oh, we got a trick play attempt in the end zone. They run it out on the throwback. Nick Harbor, fastest man on the field, is pushed out of bounds. Boy, you cannot ever nap with the threat of Beamer ball in the building. Shane Beamer learned from the best, his father, when it comes to trickery and misdirection and prestidigitation, sleight of hand.
Yeah, well, it looks like he's just going to kneel it, and then he slings it over to Nick Harbor. As you mentioned, fastest man on the field. This is the guy who's got the 3rd fastest 100-meter time, the 2nd fastest 200-meter time in the University of South Carolina's history. Lenore Sellers like, oh, is it going to turn out okay? He's looking like us. Oh man, that was close.
Yeah, it was snap.
Looks like he wasn't watching the special teams period, and they were practicing that.
How about that?
Delay game. Offense, number 16. 5-yard penalty. First down.
So they'll march it back 5 more yards with 2:19 to go in the 3rd.
And as many people might be wondering, why does Shane Beamer not take a timeout to save his team from the delay game? I actually like that decision. I think the timeout's more valuable than the 5 yards.
Sellers taking a shot wide open. I'm talking room service. It's caught at the 20 by Campbell. Roddy, he appeared so wide open, he almost bobbled it.
There is a such thing as having too much time to think about the catch. He did bobble it. I mean, it took 2 catches, and he didn't keep his feet.
Hit him in a face mask. A 60-yard gain, nonetheless. Here's Sellers trying to get to the edge. Chopped down inside the 15 at about the 14 by Jaheim Clark, a.k.a. Juice Clark. 6-yard pickup by Sellers.
And that a nice gain. And if they're going to run the zone read and Lenore Sellers keep it, I think Aaron Henry, the defensive coordinator, will live with a 6-yard gain for Lenore Sellers when he tucks the ball down and runs.
That's Clark shaking up down on the field, who made the tackle a moment ago. Clark, a 6'1" sophomore from just down I-95, Fort Myers, Florida.
So I used to have to try and block Cam Chancellor.
Oh, boy.
You'd go down and you'd cut his legs.
Right.
And you get a thigh to the helmet like that. And let's just say the helmet ain't hard enough when you got 240-pound legs with momentum hitting you. So I know what that feels like.
That can't feel good.
It doesn't.
And what do we have? We have an altercation of some sort down on the field. Shane Beamer is incensed, irate about something.
Brett Bielema walked across the field to take care of his injured player and taunted Shane Beamer with the substitution posture the refs do, the matching signal. He did it repeatedly. Beamer could hardly believe it at first.
Wow, Q.
He taunted Shane Beamer, and Beamer had enough and snapped. Shane just turned to me and said, "You saw what he did. You saw, I did see it.
Here's a look at it.
I did see it." He taunted the opposing coach.
Wow, there it is. And then here's what ensued after the taunt with the substitution signal. Shane Beamer was apoplectic here.
I mean, that is Shane Beamer. Well, as a coach, you got to control your emotions as well. But Brett Bielema, remember that injury happened on the South Carolina sideline. Taunting another head coach like that. I mean, these bowl games matter.
Yeah.
Mark, matter to these coaches enough to be talking that talk.
2nd and 4. Simon in motion now sets. Sellers fires. Complete to the one. Harbor. Bill Lamonier, this has been brewing for a while with the substitutions. Quickly, what do you do?
Hey, you got to get to both coaches and say, hey, if we're going to continue this game, you want your players to stay in the game. You want to stay in the game. Get it under control.
Thanks, Bill. South Carolina substituting right now with the play clock at 25. Play clock below 15. And a perturbed head coach Shane Beamer at the moment, albeit his team at the 1-yard line. And here come more defensive substitutions from Illinois. And a whistle and a timeout. Brett Bielema is smiling.
South Carolina. Their first of the half. 30-second timeout.
It feels like Brett Bielema is in the head of Shane Beamer a little bit. After that exchange, South Carolina had an initial sub, but then there was a second round of substitutions.
And finally, he calls timeout.
And it was that second round of substitutions that got South Carolina in trouble. Because then Brett Bielema and Illinois said, all right, let's send in a new round of Rhinos. The big boys started making their way in. They forced the timeout.
Can I say something? Hey, Q, you need to get ready for that post-game handshake, if there is one, when this is over.
Hey, tweet your friends, send them an Instagram note right now. This was a sleepy New Year's Eve game. Not anymore. This is as electric, as emotional, and as personal as any bowl game that I've ever been to.
There's been a metamorphosis of feelings temporarily because at the bowl game banquet, these two coaches were inextricable. They were all over each other, not like this, in a very admiring way. Each coach admiring what the other coach had accomplished throughout the year. But look at the countenance of Coach Bielema right now. It's telling a different story.
He's playing the Jedi mind tricks from that Illinois sideline.
Feel like the party just started. 1st and goal, South Carolina. Sellers hands it off, nowhere to go. An impregnable defensive front. Meade making the first hit on Attaway. 2nd and goal coming up. But that might have to wait until the end and the beginning of the 4th quarter.
We get a chance to take a breath?
Yes.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter.
I know it's hot here in Orlando, about 78 degrees, but time to chill for a little bit. 14-10 after 3. We'll be back after this message and a word from our ABC stations. For the final quarter, final 15 minutes. Shane Beamer and Brett Bielema, the respective brain trusts. son of former head coach Frank Beamer, leading the Gamecocks, and Brett Bielema, Illinois head coach, former player and coach in the Big Ten. Prior to that, Arkansas, his team defending their end zone right now as we start the fourth quarter. And we got a flag.
False start. Offense number 88. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
So we'll push this back a little bit.
Illinois had one of their defensive linemen on the left side of their defensive line shift inside quickly just before the jump on the edge. Watch this left side. Get a couple guys moving, a little bit of a flinch on the edge, and it bumps South Carolina back 5 yards.
We've got 3 receivers out to the top of your screen. Simon in motion. Into the end zone. Caught. Touchdown. Simon says, Happy New Year. After all the vitriol and enmity, a scoring drive capped by Josh Simon's 7th touchdown catch of the season. The 25th of his career, and the Gamecocks lead by 3. On a wonderful touch pass again by Lenore Sellers.
Lost in all the craziness of that drive, the emotion, the head coach is going back and forth. It was a really good drive by South Carolina offensively. Looks like it's going to be a zone read, ends up being a tight end pop pass. Joshua Simon just does a great job getting inside, and you can see.
Who's he looking at?
I'm not sure. I'm not even sure what he said. But the emotions of Shane Beamer have been evident throughout.
I tell you what, so many times when it comes to postseason bowl games like this, the essential question is, how much do you want to be there? How much do these coaches want to be here? Well, Brett Bielema, the former lineman at Iowa under Hayden Fry, has exhibited that he wants to be here, as do his players. Playing a fantastic game so far. So have the Gamecocks, with the tangible, emotional display you saw a moment ago from Beamer.
I'll tell you what, this does not feel like some meaningless bowl game. This crowd has been on fire all game long.
It'll be 1st and 10 from the 25 for the Illini. Here's what catalyzed some of the ill feelings. Look at Brett Bielema down to the field right there, signaling substitution and using that signal to taunt the Gamecocks and Coach Beamer, who was irate in wake of that display of taunting.
Forcing a timeout by South Carolina by doing those same substitution tricks that he's been doing all game. We saw the smirk from Brett Bielema. Shane Beamer got the last laugh on that last drive with a touchdown.
Plenty of football to play here. Altmaier under duress. Pass incomplete for Lafferty. Good pressure up front by Kilgore. Made a big play a moment ago. Talk about his brother Gerald also being a Gamecock teammate. 2nd and 10 coming up.
Jalen Kilgore blitzes off the edge. He's been all over. He's obviously got the interception. We've seen him in coverage. That time throws it out wide, or excuse me, forces Luke Altmaier to throw it out wide errantly.
Beatty in motion. Altmaier comes back the other way. Great move by Loffery, but he's brought down. Gain about 2 on the play. Hemingway authoring a nice tackle. It'll be 3rd down and 8.
I mean, I prefer when you have a guy named Tonka Hemingway, there's 2 kinds of people. One that focus on the author, me that I would focus on the Tonka truck.
Okay, I feel you.
Brett Beelan is focused on getting his team a first down. Luke Altmaier has not been able to flash his legs scrambling-wise. This offensive line is going to have to protect so we can find one of those 3 receivers to the top.
Beatty in motion. Altmaier looking downfield in traffic, and it's caught by Beatty. Wow. Beatty with some mid-air artistry to pick up the 15-yard gain.
It was really good protection. And Jalen Kilgore is just fading away. He kind of jumps awkwardly wrong-footed while fading away. And Hank Beatty says, I got cheese too. First down.
4 catches for 90 yards for Beatty today.
9 guys on the line of scrimmage here for Illinois in the formation.
Single back. Loffery over the right side over Brandon Henderson and Melvin Priestley. Gain of about 6, close to 7 yards on the play. Illinois down about 3. They've won 3 straight games coming into this one. Against Michigan State, Rutgers, and their last one about a month ago against Northwestern, their state rival. 2nd and 4 coming up. Same formation, Roddy.
Last time we've seen back-to-back plays with no receivers, 7 offensive linemen and 2 tight ends.
Just rolling up their sleeves and playing some smash ball right now as Loffery picks up 3. Hey, we have 2 more Bowl Mania matchups for you Friday on ESPN. The first one has Lone Star State team squaring off in Dallas. North Texas taking on Texas State at 4 Eastern in the Serve Pro First Responders Bowl. Then P.J. Fleck in Minnesota are matched up against Virginia Tech in the Duke's Mayo Bowl in Charlotte.
Bud Foster going to be in the booth with a headset on.
Oh, wow.
For Brent Fry and Virginia Tech. It's unclear on what exactly his role is going to be, but they've let their defense coordinator Chris Marv go. That'll be interesting to see Bud Foster putting the headset back on.
We had a chance to visit with him earlier this season when we were in Blacksburg with B-Mac, America's cameraman. On 1st and 10, the toss. This is McCray. They're going to give him the first down spot at about the 37. Josh McCray with a spirited run. And Peyton Williams was bumping his gums and talking some stuff afterwards.
One of the first times we've seen Illinois have success on the perimeter running the football. A nice block by the receiver on the edge. A couple pullers coming around. And a good game.
Number 37. McCray still in the backfield. On the flea flicker, Altmaier finds his man at the 27-yard line. LZ, but there's flags all over the field. Gamecocks did not appear to be surprised or fooled on that one.
Do you think they held Zachary Franklin, though?
Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Holding. Defense number 24. 10-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
That's against Kilgore.
He was wanting an explanation. You could sort of read the official's lips. Yeah, it was bad. You held him. You held him. Zachary Franklin was in the slot, sort of went out faking like he was going to block, trying to lull the defenders to sleep. Then when he took off, got held. But how about this? Oh, wow. Illinois has been a fourth-quarter team looking for another fourth-quarter comeback.
Right where they want to be right now. some 12 personnel in there, a running back and a couple of tight ends. Altmaier, you talked about it not that long ago. Williams makes the tackle. At some point, Altmaier could change the math in this game with his legs, right, Roddy?
He had not flashed them all that much in this game, and he's a very capable runner and a very dangerous one in the right circumstances. Those zone reads where he can get ahead of steam, get in the open field, he can be very effective.
Second and 4 coming up. Boy, a nice run, but nowhere to go for Loffery. Made 2 guys miss, but Peyton Williams came in on cleanup duty.
His penetration right up the middle that pushed Loffery off its track back to the backside where the three defenders were in the run scheme. Forced another crucial third down for Illinois.
McCray comes back into the backfield. Number 6. Elsie is split wide to the top of your screen. That trips right formation. 3rd and 4. McCray motions out of the backfield, tipped, but caught. Let's see where they spot the catch. Franklin made a great grab, and they're going to give him the first down. It was tipped at the line of scrimmage by T.J. Sanders.
T.J. Sanders identifies it. It's a quick pass, goes up in the air, does what he's supposed to do. The concentration, though, by Zachary Franklin to snag that. You can see clearly past the line of scrimmage when he catches the football. Good call by the officials.
1st and 10 from the 16. They hand it off to McCray. Pulls his way down to the 11-yard line. Brian Thomas Jr., one of the best stories on that South Carolina defense, making the tackle after the 5-yard gain. 2nd down and 5 coming up in this invariable, inexorable drive so far for the Fighting Illini.
Going to get 7 offensive linemen in the game again for Illinois with those 2 tight ends.
11th play coming up. They haven't been able to solve this formation quite yet. Loffery into the boundary, nowhere to go, got locked. Debo Williams. Debo looked like he took Loffery's bike here. You could hear the shoulder pads popping down in the field. 3rd and 3.
Now as we get closer to the goal line, those windows are going to shrink for Luke Altmaier. The 2 guys he's been going to consistently on 3rd down. 4, Zachary Franklin, and 80, Hank Beatty.
Franklin in motion. They fake the jet sweep. McCray, touchdown Illinois! Three-point game and the 2nd touchdown today for Josh McCray. When you aggregate the numbers between McCray and Loffery, you've got one of the best 1-2 punches in the conference. The extra point good, the lead up to 4. With the vitriol still apparently flowing just enough. Heightened sensitivities down in the field, and a great finish coming up. Welcome back, everyone, to Orlando in the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. Look at Brett Bielema down in the field. This is what happened just a quarter ago. in a sense, taunting the South Carolina sideline with the timeout signal. He kept doing it until he got that reaction from Coach Beamer. And then it was on like Donkey Kong. I mean, the emotions on both sidelines started boiling and boiling over. And subsequent to that, a touchdown by South Carolina, an answer by Illinois, who lead by 4 with just under 7.5 minutes to go. Hey, Happy New Year, everybody, by the way. Back after this break. Chetzi has had. He officiated a marriage, and they kicked Chetzi for a field goal, splitting the uprights right there. Good. That's a day. That's your MVP.
I mean, you got credit to the kicker for not goinging him off one of the uprights, which we've seen once today with the football. Chetzi has been all over the place. You missed it. He came up and visited us up here in the booth.
I missed
as well.
him. I was in the men's room. Hey, the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl always delivers, folks. Couple of 9-3 teams as South Carolina and Illinois look for their 10th win of the season. The Fighting Illini would have their first 10-win season in 23 years. 7:29 to go. South Carolina with 2 timeouts remaining. Illinois with 1. It'll be Gamecocks football. And keep in mind that Lenora Sellers is fresh off of a comeback win against Clemson in his last game. Remember, he threw an interception with about 10 minutes to go against Clemson in the 4th quarter in the red zone, but he bounced back and had a touchdown winning drive for the victory. Can he do it here in the ball game against Illinois? He's connected on his last 7 passes. They run it into the boundary. Good move by Attaway. Got about 6 on the play. Bailey and Meade making the tackle for Illinois.
South Carolina would not be upset with a long drive here. That last Illinois drive took over 7 minutes off the clock. You got to start counting possessions, knowing that you don't have too many. Obviously, the most important thing is put the ball in the end zone.
2nd and 4. His eyes in the right place, connecting with Simon. Josh Simon still on his feet. It took about 6 dudes to bring him down on the 24-yard gallop. First down, Gamecocks. And into Illinois territory.
Lenore Sellers, once again, he's going to work from this side back to Josh Simon. Over here, he's looking, surveying, goes back, and then JoJo Hayden on the back end of that goes for the knockdown rather than securing the tackle. Josh Simon is able to get up the field for a big gain, and now you've got a defender for Illinois who's down.
That's Miles Scott, the starting safety. And immediately met with a chorus of boos.
South Carolina fans aren't happy. They're used to seeing this in their conference at times.
Yeah, that's been a topic of discussion.
Yes, it has. But the thing is, like, this is a team from Illinois. It's coming down to Central Florida where it's
78 degrees.
78 degrees and humid is all get out because, as you know, in Florida, we get a rain shower every day.
Yeah. I'm from Miami. We call this winter.
So cramping could be a real thing for these guys.
Got a great point. First down and 10 from the Illinois 45. Attaway in the backfield. Sellers with the play fake downfield on the out pattern. Throws a dart complete to the 27. Nick Harbor moving the chains on the 18-yard catch.
Well, watch what track speed does when you threaten a defender. He's bailing. Harbor breaks it out to the outside. There's nobody there. It's an accurate pass from Lenore Sellers.
Nick Harbor has improved a lot in his pass catching skills over the last 12 months. Sellers going to keep it and got hit. The ball came out. Was he down first? They're going to say that he was down first, and Sellers a little bit shaken up as Malachi Hood made the hit on the play.
We were talking to New South Carolina offensive coordinator Mike Shula. Yeah, he was clearly down. But he was saying that sometimes you want Lenore Sellers to have some discretion, not take those big hits. That's probably one of those scenarios.
Hands it off this time to Attaway, stopped by Bailey. And an interesting third down coming up, about 2 or 3 to go. With 5 minutes to play in this game, South Carolina with a couple of timeouts.
It's a big third down, obviously. I think if South Carolina, look at 4:47 left on the clock, I think you're going for it on fourth down, even if you don't get it.
Gotta be. Keeping on the ground. Nice cutback by Attaway. Moves the chains down to the 13-yard line. Oscar Attaway filling in for Rocket Sanders, who opted out, picks up 7. And another crucial first down, and another Illinois player slow to get up off the field. That's number 45, Malachi Hood. Illinois has 1 timeout remaining.
Colorado knew it was going to be a really good team in Tim Polasek's first year, but for them to get back to the national championship game, an opportunity to win it for the first time in 2 years. And Montana State's been the best team in FCS all year long.
Right.
Undefeated coming into that game. That'll be a phenomenal matchup. It really will be.
Game on Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. 1st and 10 from the 13. Sellers on the quarterback keep. Pushed out of bounds at about the 10-yard line. Got 3 on the play. Lenore Sellers once again back in game-winning drive clutch mode like he was against Clemson. A little over 3 minutes to go from his side of midfield. Took his team into the end zone.
Difference is against Clemson, it was 166 yards on the ground. It's been all with his arm today. I think that's been the impressive thing.
And a blitz, they pick up the pressure off the edge. Almost intercepted by Torrey Cox. He went Joshua Simon's way. And it sets up a 3rd down and 7. He had connected previous to that incompletion on his last 10 in a row.
That ball's got to be high and outside towards the back pylon. Torrey Cox tried to go up with one hand and snag it, and almost did.
And here comes once again another late substitution by Illinois. It's been one of the combative themes of the game. Play clock is down to 8. Sellers completed the 8. Attaway pushed out of bounds at about the 7. Sets up an interesting and intriguing 4th down.
Yeah, I think it's a go in this situation. Had you gone backwards, maybe you kick the field goal because it's such a low percentage 4th down, but inside the 10-yard line, 4th and 4, down by 4.
Analytics say go.
I think it's a go.
They're 8 of 16 on 4th downs. Sellers going to pass. Incomplete in the end zone. And Illinois takes over on downs. He tried to hit Josh Simon, and it may have been a little bit low.
The pressure forces Lenore Sellers to throw it low and behind Josh Simon.
Who at 6'4", that's tough.
It is tough. It's tough for any of the receivers when you're moving one way to reach back down to that back foot and try and catch it. Shane Beamer knows that the opportunity was there. but the throw just enough off, and now you've got to put it on your defense. So we got 2 timeouts and the 2-minute timeout. So now you put it on your defense, and that offensive line for Illinois has done such a good job in this fourth quarter of controlling the line of scrimmage.
On 1st and 10. Altmaier's going to hand it off to Loffery. Turns the corner, steps out of bounds. After a gain of, well, it looks like they're going to give him about 6, close to 7 on the play.
And Aiden Loffery ducked out of bounds, but because we're not under 2 minutes yet, the 2-minute timing mechanics haven't started. So the clock already started back again. So it doesn't cost Illinois in terms of running down the clock, then going out of bounds.
Loffery in the backfield. It's Loffery. And they're going to stop him short of the first down. Brian Thomas picks up 2 on the play.
Illinois has gone to that formation. 7 offensive linemen, 2 tight ends, under center, 1 single back. Gone to it over and over in this fourth quarter. It just feels like Big Ten football. And this 3rd down, they're going to need to summon all the Big Ten football in their bag to pick up this crucial first down.
We've hit the 2-minute timeout. This thing building to a crescendo. We'll be back with the finish in a minute. All right, back here for a great finish. 2 minutes to go, 3rd and 2 for Illinois, trying to hang on to the football and put the finishing touches on a 10-win season, and they'll pick it up and then some. McCray running for daylight. Down to the 24. A 60-yard sprint across the turf, and that might seal it.
It's the hole that opens up. Just a massive lane once again for Josh McCray to motor through. And he does just that, forcing South Carolina to use their 2nd timeout of the game.
South Carolina, 30-second timeout. Clock operator, please put 1:43 on the game clock.
And all but salting this game away. What a performance by Brett Bielema. A team that had only 14 players in their final year of eligibility, tied for the 2nd fewest in entire FBS. A young team, the 2 coaches that started off being nice and chummy.
They were tight. They were tight at the start of the night, but not so much after Coach Bielema there showing the signal for timeout as we bring in Bill Lamagna, our rules analyst. Bill, what's your take on the impact of what went on with the substitutions today?
Well, you know, the substitution, when the offense does substitute, the defense gets an opportunity to respond. But they're responding so slow and multiple times. They're taking advantage of the rule. Now, what Coach did there, it went overboard, and it should have been flagged.
As what, a taunt?
Yes, taunting.
Okay. Well, and look, right after that, South Carolina had to burn a timeout because of a late substitution by their offense. Defense responded, forced them to take a timeout so they didn't get a delay of game. That was the 3rd timeout that Shane Beamer should have for this situation. He doesn't have it. Illinois is very close to putting this thing away.
Loffery in the backfield. He's going to go down. I find it interesting that taunting fouls and penalties are called very quickly on players.
South Carolina calls their 3rd and final timeout of the half. 30 seconds.
We've seen numerous taunting penalties called quickly against players. But at the moment where maybe we needed one against a coach, it didn't happen. Fans, don't forget to check out the ESPN app for the Capital One postgame immediately following the game. This is the first meeting all time between the Gamecocks and the Fighting Illini as we go down to Q.
Well, this is week 19 for our television crew, the I Crew. And we've got a member of our team, Andy Osofsky, our graphics producer, who's been doing it for decades, that has been fighting cancer all season long, 19 weeks. And all he's done every week is show up with a sense of humor, with an attitude of how can I make the show better, with his expertise. He's been relentless, unwavering, so tough, team first attitude, all through treatment, and he has made us better. We have drawn strength from his battle. No complaints, no excuses. We love you, Andy. Thank you.
Amen to that, Q. As Lafroy has brought down Andy Osofsky, folks, an integral member of our college football production team, has been a paragon of persistence with his personal journey and battle this year, and has inspired each and every one that he has encountered on our crew.
Certainly has, and we thank you, Andy, for your work and being a friend, being a great teammate, and like Mark said, being an inspiration.
A real model of the Jimmy V adage, never ever give up. Don't ever give up.
Final charge timeout, Illinois. 30-second timeout.
Coming up. Altmaier did just enough today, 13 of 22, 174 yards, but it was the huge run by McCray, 60 yards in this final drive that really put the game away. He ends up with 114 yards and a couple of touchdowns. And what about the measure of respect that the Big Ten gets from a win like this, Roddy?
They'll get a ton of it, especially with Alabama losing earlier today against Michigan as well. The timing here is interesting, though. Illinois is going to have to run a fourth down play.
Altmaier using his legs, stays in bounds, brought down to the 19. As you said, they'll have to run a fourth down play here. The clock will continue. Neither team with a timeout remaining.
That was a long developing play, and it looks like the play clock has just a half a second more time on
look
it
at the difference
than the game clock. And so I think Illinois is going to have to snap it. They're going to take the delay game, run it down as far as humanly possible. Illinois is going to have to snap. There's going to be 1 second on the clock. So Luke Altmaier take a knee and get out of here.
In the victory formation, steps back, knees it, and that's it. They cheesed it. The Cheez-It Citrus Bowl champions in 2024 are Illinois. And here is a moment here. The handshake. Zero animosity or enmity left over. Charge it to the game, Roddy Jones. That's what happens.
It's what you have to do. It happens in the heat of battle. You leave behind, you shake hands like men, and you go your separate ways.
Let's go downstairs to Q.
Congratulations, Coach. A really fascinating win that was not without its moments. And I see your smile. What happened between you and Coach there in the third quarter?
Football game. I think the best thing to happen, we got ourselves in a bowl that means a lot to this program. 10 wins, 5th time in school history. We want to build something sustainable. Can't say enough about our kids and their effort. And obviously a really good South Carolina team. Very excited to get a W.
Well, what do you think made the difference for your defense?
You know, just they played inspired. I know that we talked all the last 3 weeks about about this quarterback, how we make him play left-handed. Thought our guys did a great job. We wanted to make him throw the ball, try to beat us in the air. We knew we could get him in our situation. They did that and had a huge run. We grinded down the grain. I like to see that barge formation in there.
The last time the Fighting Illini won 10 games was 2001. What does this mean for you, your coaches, and the players?
Well, it's a great, end of this season, but catapults us into next year. We got a lot of really good players coming back.